Hey guys, welcome back to yoga with me, Mercedes. Today we are going to do a practice that I'm calling yoga for anxiety, specifically yoga postures that are going to help us reduce anxiety, because we are in really uncertain times right now and we all have different feeling and emotion coming in and out based on what's happening in the world, things that we can't control. But what we can control is this practice that we have with ourselves. So we just make the time to get on our mat, get into our bodies, connect with our breath, and just try to move some of that anxiety around. I really recommend that when you feel anxious, rather than sitting in stillness and letting stories create in your mind, that you get into your body, and in that way you can start to move energy around and change your experience. So go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. We're going to start with breath work. So think about how you like to comfortably sit. I'm going to grab a blanket to sit on. You can sit on a blanket or a block, or maybe directly down onto the mat. And once you set yourself up comfortably, know that we're going to do a breath called Nadi Shodhana. That means alternate nostril breath. So to do that, we're going to look at our hand. If you're right-handed, you'll pick up your right hand. If you're left-handed, it'll be the left. Then you're going to take your index finger and your peace finger to your palm. Then you'll lift your hand up towards your face. The alternate nostril breath is going to be using the thumb and the index finger to cover the nostril on that side. Okay? So I'm working with my right hand. To you, it might look like my left hand because the camera is flipped to record. So just follow along as best you can. Before we come into the alternate nostril breath, we're just going to clear out our own breath. So let's take a deep inhalation all the way to the top of the breath. Exhale, open your mouth, release. Now go ahead and cover your right nostril. Inhale through your left. At the top of the inhalation, cover the left nostril, release the finger, exhale through the right nostril. Inhale right, close off the nostril, lift opposite finger, exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Continue in this way, your pace. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. One more round. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release your hand. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, just notice the breath flowing in and out of your nostrils. Feel the chest rise and expand as you inhale. And feel the chest soften as you exhale. Take a few more rounds of breath in that way. And slowly start to transition to your natural breath. The way that you breathe without force or control. Simply notice how you feel now after tuning in and connecting with your breath. And gently start to flutter the eyes open. Allow yourself to bring the right corner of your mouth up to your right ear and the left corner of your mouth up to your left ear. Smileasana. Let yourself smile. Let yourself have fun. Try to let go of all the worry and thought just for now in our practice. Offer yourself a big smile. Notice how that changes the way that you feel internally. Know that you can offer that to yourself anytime that you'd like. Now we're going to come into some seated spinal twisting. And the reason why we're going to initiate our physical practice with this is because this is a very beneficial way to not only get mobility in your spine by twisting, but also helping to unlock the energy at the solar plexus, which is one of the energy centers where anxiety can reside. So by moving the spine from side to side, we let that energy unblock and shift up and out. So to come into it, we're going to take our fingertips to our shoulders and then lift your elbows. So try to keep your elbows lifted in line with your shoulders. Now turn, rotate to one direction and then opposite direction. This is going to be a quicker movement. So you keep moving from side to side, rotating and twisting as much as you can and trying to keep the hips and the legs grounded. Now keep those elbows lifted. They're going to want to sag down. Work really hard to keep the elbows lifted. Keep going. I know it's a lot of work. I know you might be getting frustrated. You might be getting tired. Keep lifting the elbows. Keep rotating from side to side. Feel the spine move. Feel the spine wake up. Keep going. Hear your breath as you move from side to side. Fully rotate. And then slow the movement. Relax the arms. Close your eyes. Allow yourself a reflective pause to get internal. Notice the energy that you've created with your movement. Simply bring awareness to the shift that's happening within. Feel the energy at the heart center. Take one more round of breath. Allow the eyes to flutter open again. If you're sitting on a prop, now's a great time to just set it out to the side. It'll be there if you want to come back to it. We're going to come into our staff pose and then transition from there to what's called Paschimottanasana. So for this option, extend extend your legs, straighten your legs, bring your feet to the top of the mat, bring your feet together. Now to get more grounded in your seat, you can lean over to one side, pull the flesh back, and then lean over to the other side, pull the flesh back, allowing yourself to feel more rooted down. So this is our staff pose. Our hands are outside of our hips, our body's in the shape of the letter L. On the next inhalation, we'll lift the fingertips up towards the sky, and as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Reach your arms forward. Your hands might connect to your shins, to your ankles, or to your feet. Reach the crown of your head up as you inhale, and as you exhale, fold a little deeper. Let's try that again. Inhale, reach the crown of your head up. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen the spine, reach the crown of the head up, and then exhale, fold. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Let the arms relax. Let your head lower down. Feel a deep stretch in the hamstrings and in the entire back space. Relax your head. Let your spine come into flexion. And now just simply breathe here. With each exhalation, see if you can fold a little deeper. Finding a fuller expression. Inhale, lift your head, slowly rise up. Crown of the head reaching up. Back to our staff pose, back to our letter L shape. And from here, we're going to practice a seated balance. So we'll bend one knee at a time. You're going to take your peace fingers, your index finger and your middle finger, to hook onto the same side big toe. Arm is going to come to the inside of the leg. Now set it up on the other side. Index finger and middle finger, your peace fingers, hook onto your big toes. Now, bring your heels towards your body. And then just lift your heels off the mat. You're already in a balance here. You don't have to go further. But if you want to go further and it's available, you can lift your heels so that they're in line with your knees. You might even be able to straighten your legs depending on your practice. With the legs straight or the knees bent, just open the heart, send it forward. Notice if you're collapsing, and if so, open your chest. Let your heart shine. And just balance wherever you are. If your legs are straight, you'll feel a nice stretch at the inner thighs. And if the legs are straight, just slowly start to bend the knees. Bring the feet back down to the mat. Extend one leg. Take the opposite foot to the outside of the straight leg thigh. The knee that you have bent, take that same side hand behind your hip. With your opposite arm, as you inhale, reach your fingers up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, rotate, twist deeper. Connect your elbow to your thigh. Keep twisting and look past your shoulder. And And slowly unwind. Bring your torso to center. Straighten. And then bend the opposite leg. So we're going to do the same thing, other side. So the foot comes to the outside of the thigh. Same side hand comes behind the hip, setting up your kickstand here. Now opposite arm, fingers reach up on an inhale. Exhale, elbow to thigh. Rotate, twist deeper. Look past your shoulder. Stay here with your breath. And slowly and gently unwind. Extend your leg. And then just maybe give a little shimmy to the knees, just shaking out any tension. You can stay as you are. I'm just gonna rotate to face the camera so that you can see what I'm doing with my legs. We're gonna come into a posture called Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose. So we're gonna open the feet wider. You can take the heels, your heels to the edges of your mat if your feet are still forward. One knee is gonna bend. The sole of the foot comes to the inner thigh of the opposite leg. Before we go any further, look at your legs. If your bent knee is up really high, that's okay. That just means that your hip is tight on that side. In that case, you could put a block or a blanket underneath for support. This way, you're not holding tension. You're not having to hold your leg up, but you're using the prop to bring the floor up to you. Now, if you don't need that prop, you can just simply have your leg down. Take your hands to your ribs, rotate your torso towards your extended leg. Inhale, reach your fingers up, and then exhale, reach forward. Coming back into our fold, but this time your belly and your chest is facing your straight leg. Now relax your neck, let your head lower down. Your forehead might even tap your leg. Stay in this position with the breath. If your hands are grabbing your foot, just release. Inhale, rise up back to a straight spine. Taking the same movement, the same posture, but setting up on the other side. Opposite knee now bends, sole of the foot finds the inner thigh. Take your hands to your ribs as a reminder to rotate your torso fully towards this extended leg. Now, before we go further, note that this leg might be different. This hip could be tighter, could be more open, so check your propping here on this side. Now, once your chest is facing your straight leg, inhale, arms rise up, and then exhale, reach forward. Keep your seat grounded, both hips down. Feel the stretch at the hamstring, and know that once you release your head, you might get a deeper stretch in your entire back space. You might even feel a stretch on the side body. Relax the neck, lower the head down, just breathe. As you inhale, slowly start to rise up. Back to a straight spine. Transitioning to Baddha Konasana, both knees bend, soles of the feet find each other. Now here, you're going to notice how close or how far away you want your feet to be. Your heels might come all the way up towards your body. If you do that and you feel discomfort in your knees, then you need to open up the angle at the knees by sending the feet forward. Notice how that changes the feeling in the knees. Doesn't matter how close or how far the feet are. What matters is the comfort that you're feeling in your legs and knees. So once you decide where that point is for you, take your middle fingers to the arches of your feet. You can press your thumbs into the arches of your feet, and then keeping the press, just take circles, giving yourself a nice massage for your feet. Our feet are so important. They take us so many places, and we don't give them as much love in return as they receive. So offer yourself this nurturing touch. Maybe circle around opposite direction, thanking your feet for all they allow you to do. And then stop the circling motion. Keep the hands here. Some people do prefer to wrap the fingers around the toes. That's another option if you prefer. Inhale, reach your head up. And as you exhale, lean your heart forward. Now, as you lean forward, listen to your knees. If your knees are talking to you, send the feet out. Open the angle. If you're comfortable where the knees are, continue to fold. Your forearms can rest on your lower legs. And then inhale, rise up. From here, we're going to transition into child's pose. And if you've been in my classes before, which you all have, you know that I like to offer a few different variations of child's pose. And the one that I think is really important today for anxiety reducing is to keep the knees and the feet together. So to do that, we'll come into a kneeling position. The foundation is now going to be the shins and the tops of the feet. Make sure the big toes are together, the knees are together, the thighs are together. Once you come forward, you're going to aim to have your forehead meet the mat and your arms by your sides. If, when you come into this, your forehead doesn't go all the way down like mine does, that's no problem. You can position a blanket or a block to support your head. Just making sure that your forehead is at the edge of the prop so that you have space for your nose to breathe. Now, alternatively, you might need your prop somewhere else. You might be able to get your forehead down, but you might not be able to get your hips down. So you can close the gap by bringing your blanket or your pillow between your hips and your feet. Arms by your sides. Spinal flexion. Release for the low back. Stay here with your breath. And while you're here, I want to tell you why this posture is important. Stay in your child's pose. Focus on your breath. If you're feeling anxious, if you're having trouble sleeping, this posture is really beneficial because it helps to calm the nervous system. It allows us to down-regulate. In times where you're feeling a little panicky and uncomfortable with anxiousness and nervousness, I recommend taking child's pose for 3 to 5 minutes. So if that's how you're feeling today, then I recommend pausing the video, taking that time to really stay into child's pose and let yourself get that benefit. We're going to take a few more rounds of breath here. Let your arms relax. If you've had a lot on your mind, a lot of worries and looping, you can rock your head from side to side, just massaging those worries away. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift your head. Straight spine, walk your hands outside of your hips. Take a breath here. We're going to transition now from kneeling to reclined. And as we come into a reclined pose, we're going to get into some hip opening. We store a lot in our hips. And for our first reclined posture of hip opening, this one's going to be a variation of reclined figure 4. I'd like to offer you a variation with a strap. So if you don't have a strap near your mat, you can pause the video, get a strap, a scarf, a belt, whatever it is, it's going to help you reach your foot if you can't do so with your hand. So I've got my strap. I'm going to face away from the camera so that you can see what's happening with my legs. For our reclined figure 4, we lift one leg and we bring the ankle to the opposite thigh. And we make sure that it's just above the knee so that we don't have bone on bone. Now the opposite foot lifts. Typically we position the ankle in line with the knee. For today, we're going to take our strap to our foot and we're going to let the leg that's not bent, the one that's not in front of you, be straight. The same side arm is going to hold onto the strap wherever feels appropriate to you. If your hamstring is tight, you're probably going to take less of a grip with your leg being further away. If your hamstring is pretty open, then you'll be able to pull the strap closer to your body. But it's really important to keep the tailbone down. So if your tailbone lifts, give it some slack on the strap so that you can get the tailbone grounded. This way you don't compromise the low back. Now your opposite hand, the same side hand that's at the bent knee, is going to come to that thigh. And as you pull the straight leg towards you, you can use your hand to send the thigh away of the bent knee. Notice how this feels and just reposition your grab anytime you need to. Checking in with yourself. If you don't feel enough of a stretch at your hip, continue to pull that strap towards you. And if you feel too much in the hamstring and not enough at the hip, then you can bend your knee and come back to this traditional reclined figure 4. So this is your choice. My hamstring is pretty open today, so I'm going to go for more of a hip stretch. So the knee that you have bent, that same side arm reaches between the legs. Opposite arm comes around the other thigh, fingers interlace, and the palms pull the thigh towards the body. We've got 2 more full rounds of breath here. Now release the hands. If the strap is still connected to your foot, I'm going to show you an easy way to transition and switch up the legs. So the knee that's bent, straighten that leg. Take your foot into the loop of the strap and then remove the foot you started with. Give the strap some slack so that you can bend the opposite knee. Bring the ankle to the thigh. And now slowly check in on this side. Notice how far you want to reach your hand up the strap, how much you need to feel into the hamstring. Make sure the tailbone is connected down to the ground. Take your opposite hand to the thigh of your bent knee. Push the thigh away as you continue to pull the strap towards your body. Please listen to your body and modify any time that you need to. If you're noticing that the hamstring is pretty open and you want to come into the hip on this side as well, then you can bend the straight leg. Reach the arm that's the same side of the bent knee through the legs. Other arm around the outside of the thigh, fingers interlace. Palms to the back of the thigh. Pull the thigh towards the body. Check in on your breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. And again. And gently release the hands. Open the arms out to the sides. With your foot, you can challenge yourself to remove the strap. So the strap is off the legs. Now the knees are bent. The knees are above the hips. The ankles are in line with the knees. Coming back into spinal twisting to shift the energy around. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, lower your knees to the left. Look to the right. Keep the right shoulder down. Inhale brings the knees up to center. Exhale, knees to the right, look to the left. Keep the left shoulder down. Each time you inhale, knees rise up. Each time you exhale, knees fall opposite direction. Both shoulders stay down as your movement follows your breath. Take one more on each side. The next time you find your knees to center, lower your feet down as you exhale. Soles of the feet meet the mat. Open the feet the width of the mat and let your knees come together. Hands can find your belly. With your hands resting on your belly, as you inhale, feel the belly rise. Exhale, sigh of relief. Continue to connect with this breath. And then lift your feet. Lift your feet all the way up to the ceiling. Let the knees go wide. Reach your hands up. Some of you might be able to take your hands to the outsides of your feet. If you do this and your tailbone disconnects, then reach for your ankles. If your tailbone still doesn't connect back down to the mat, then take your hands to the back of the knees. This is happy baby. I'm going to turn to this side so that you can see that in this posture, the knees need to go wide. So rather than the knees coming into the chest, they're coming to the outside of the rib. And your happy baby, as you feel your hips opening up, keep pressing the tailbone down to the mat. If you'd like, you can gently rock from side to side. Just offering yourself a nice little massage for your back muscles. If you'd like to practice straightening the legs, you can take your peace fingers to your big toes. See how it feels to open up and straighten one leg, if that's available in your body. And then try that on the other side. Some of you might even want to open up both legs. And if the legs are extended, just bend the knees, release the hands. Lower the feet down to the mat. Bring your arms by your sides. Bring your heels in line with your glutes. We're going to come into bridge pose, showing you a couple different options. The first one is going to be a supported option with a block. We're going to practice with the block at the lowest height. As you inhale, press your feet to the mat, lift your hips, take your block and slide it underneath your sacrum. If you're not sure where that is, make sure you're not on your low back. Find your waistband, and the part that's closer to the glutes, that's where you're going to put the block. Arms by your sides. This is our supported bridge. We don't have to do anything. The block is doing the work of having the hips lifted. If this is comfortable for you, you can stay here. If you want to do an unsupported bridge, you can lift the block, bring your hands underneath the glutes, interlace your fingers, and then roll the shoulders underneath the back. Now actively lift your hips up towards the ceiling, and at the same time, drive your fists down into the mat. Feel a nice squeeze between the shoulder blades, releasing stress and tension, and keep lifting the hips up as if your hips are trying to tap the ceiling. And if you're in this option, roll the shoulders out, release the arms, bring the arms out to the sides. If you're working with the block, remove the block. And then as you exhale, slowly lower from the top of the spine down to the tailbone. We're going to do that a few more times, articulating the spine. So bring your arms down, palms down. Your arms now become your anchors. As you inhale, lift your hips up, press the hips up. And as you exhale, lower from the top of the spine, one vertebra at a time, all the way down to the tailbone. And we'll do that again, movement following the breath. Inhale, lift the hips up, press them up. Exhale, lower the spine down, articulating the spine for one more round. Inhale, lift and press up. And then exhale, lower down. Once the tailbone connects to the mat, take a breath here. From here, we'll come into a supported Baddha Konasana. Staying in a reclined position, open your feet so the soles of the feet meet, just like we did when we were seated, and let the knees splay out. So in my body, it feels really good, just like this, without props. However, remember, if your knees are coming up, then you're going to want to bring your blocks underneath your thighs to support them. Your hands can gently rest to the inner thighs, not pushing or pressing, just gently resting there as a reminder for opening. Or maybe your hands find your belly so that you can connect with your breath, feeling the belly rise with each inhale. And feeling the belly soften with each exhale. Maybe you take one hand to your heart, with one hand at your belly, at your solar plexus, and one hand at your heart center. These are two energy centers where anxiety can reside. The third is the root that has to do with the hips, knees, and feet. Pay attention to these areas as you breathe. And with each exhale, let your body sink down onto the mat. Let yourself relax. And take another round of breath here. And take your hands to the outside of the thighs. Guide the knees together. Lift the knees into the chest. Take your palms to your shins. Hug the knees in. Press the tailbone down. You can roll over to one side, or you can take your hands underneath your knees. Lift your hips, rock up and down the spine a few times. Come onto your seat. And coming towards the end of our practice today, we're going to bring our mat up against the wall space. So just find a wall in your room, in your area, and bring the short end of the mat up to the wall. From here, we're going to take one posture and then come into Shavasana. So you might want your blanket to support you for Shavasana if you really like that option. And have one block close to you as well. And then come onto your back. First, we'll start by positioning the block underneath the hips, just like we did before. But this time, instead of bridge pose, we're going to keep the arms down and grounded. Your hands might even grab onto the blocks. And then we're going to lift the legs up. So the legs are straight. Taking a gentle inversion here with the hips lifted. And if you feel comfortable and supported, maybe you relax the arms. If you're not sure, maybe you take the hands back to the block for support. And then bend the knees, lower the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift the hips, remove the block, lower down. We've got two options for how we come into our relaxation pose today. If you want to come into Shavasana with the legs extended, just make sure that you've got space so that your feet aren't smushed up against the wall. Or if you want to continue with a gentle inversion, then you can scoot yourself up to the wall. I like to bring one hip to the wall. And then as I lower down, swivel and shimmy all the way up to the wall. Legs are extended. Continuing to open the hamstrings if this is an area you want to work on. Deciding if you want your arms by your sides or at your belly. And before we settle in, if you're at the wall, as you inhale, point your toes. And as you exhale, flex your feet. Inhale, point, stretch the tops of the feet. Exhale, flex, stretch the calf muscles. And then take one more round, movement following your breath. Relax the feet. Prepare to come into your relaxation pose. Your choice today, legs up the wall or traditional star-shaped Shavasana. Maybe reach around for your blanket if you'd like to cover yourself up. Opening the blanket as much as you'd like. And feeling that warmth and nurturing. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Close your eyes. Bring all awareness to your breath. Inhaling deeply all the way to the top of the breath. All the way until you can't take in any more air. And when you're ready to exhale, release as slowly as possible. And again, with each exhalation, let the body melt down. And give yourself full permission to just relax, to pause, to come back to stillness. And gently start to rock your head from side to side. And gently waking up the physical body, feeling sensation in the neck. Just noticing how you have yourself positioned. Lift your legs so that you can roll out onto one side. And then coming into a seat. We're going to come back into our breath work, just like we started with our Nadi Shodhana breath. You can take advantage of having your mat up against the wall by scooting your entire body up against the wall and then pressing your entire back so that you're feeling from your low back all the way up the back, shoulders, and even the head presses back. Straight spine, reaching the crown of the head up, feeling rooted down in your seat, but rising up through the crown of your head. And softening the arms. Take a breath here. And then prepare to come back into Nadi Shodhana breath. So taking that same hand that you started with, bringing your peace fingers to your palm. Remember, the thumb and the ring finger are going to alternate with same side nostrils. To start without pressing the fingers to the nostrils, first take a deep inhalation through the nose. Exhale, open your mouth. Let it go. Cover the nostril with the thumb. Inhale now through the left nostril. Cover it. Release the thumb. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Keep moving at your pace. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Last round. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Remove your hand. Relax both arms. Allow yourself to come back to your natural breath, the way that you breathe without force or control. Deep inhale. Exhale, feel the shoulders sinking away from the ears. And soften with each exhale. Feel this peacefulness that you've created with your breath, your practice. This time that you've set aside for yourself. And feeling gratitude for carving out this time. Place one palm at your heart center. Bring the opposite hand on top. Inhale, feel the heart pressing to the hands. Exhale, relax. This is Anahata, the heart energy center. Inhale, expand it, open the chest, cultivate love and compassion for yourself. Exhale, relax, release anxiety. Know that you're safe here in your body, in your practice, and you can always come back to this space whenever you want or need to. Now take your left hand to your right shoulder, right hand to your left shoulder. Tuck your chin towards your chest, bowing your head down to yourself in gratitude for your practice. Lean away from the wall, rock from side to side, offering yourself a hug, love, self-nurturing. Back to center. Namaste. Thank you for your presence. I'll see you again. Surprise bonus material. If you want to really clear your mind and rid of anxiety, you can take an optional headstand. If this is not part of your practice, I recommend using a wall space. I'm going to turn the direction of my body so that you can see what it looks like to come into headstand. Setting your hands up, interlacing your fingers, positioning your elbows underneath your shoulders for a strong foundation. Bring the crown of your head all the way up to your hands. Curl your toes, lift your hips, walk your feet towards your body, bringing your hips above your shoulders. And then lift your feet coming into a tuck position. From here, you can press your feet straight up to the ceiling. And to help with your balance, you can flex your feet and press your ankles together. Now press your forearms into the ground, feel your head lift, and take any leg variation that you'd like. Maybe straddling the legs to help with your balance. Maybe you do some core work and let one foot tap down, and then the opposite side. Knowing that the whole time that you're upside down, you're providing clarity for yourself, because there's nothing else that you can possibly be focused on other than what you're doing in this moment. And when you're ready, come out. Ta-da! See you next time. Thanks for joining me. I feel so much better. Do you?